Next on Currents News, the speed cameras are off and students are on alert. School's only weeks away. The American economy is booming, churning out growth that has not been seen in years. The latest is coming up.
We will always have your back. So, little Haiti, a big thank you. We are going to always be with you, stand with you, and appreciate you. God bless.
Little Haiti, a vibrant new community that's making a difference for residents. Tonight, my special and exclusive report. Plus, the Bishop of Brooklyn, Nicholas DiMarzio, will be here in a few moments to go into the deep about a group dedicated to God and country. The news starts right now.
It's kind of scary to think about.
A Catholic student is worried because the new school year is fast approaching, but speed cameras in school zones are effectively turned off. Good evening, everyone. I'm Liz Faublas. The screeching stop for the monitors could put students in jeopardy this September. By watching over school zones throughout the city, the cameras were widely praised for cutting down speeding and for keeping children safe. Currents News' Tim Harfman is standing by outside St. Francis Prep in Fresh Meadows with the latest. Tim.
Liz, the two speed cameras near the school are new. You can see one of them behind my right shoulder. They were installed by the city within the past 2 years. But now, after lawmakers couldn't make a deal to keep them running, these cameras and hundreds more are in the dark. These speed cameras are no longer issuing tickets. After lawmakers couldn't reach across the aisle, cameras in 140 school zones throughout the city went dark Wednesday. With summer classes and sports programs in session, students want the cameras to shutter again.
I feel like with the speed cameras, it'll help out a lot. Like it'll keep things more organized.
Around St. Francis Prep, some drivers have a need for speed. Located in Fresh Meadows on the corner of Francis Lewis Boulevard and Horace Harding Expressway, there are two speed cameras nearby. Students remember what it was like before they were installed.
It was just like hoping that everyone would be able to make it across.
Since then, things are much different around the area.
It's definitely been very safe and orderly. All the cars are under control, so everyone knows when to cross, and everyone feels comfortable crossing.
The speed cameras have helped with that. It slowed everything down. So when I heard yesterday that they were going dark, it's a concern.
According to a spokesperson for the Department of Transportation, speed cameras reduce injuries by 17% and fatalities by 21%. The head of St. Francis Prep Security says safety around the school is top priority.
We do school our children on how to cross at the corners. I have a whole staff of security guards and teachers out here at dismissal, making sure that the people are crossing in the crosswalks at the corner, so it's not a chaotic situation.
Most Catholic academies and high schools in Brooklyn and Queens resume classes on Wednesday, September 5th. If the cameras are still dark by then, St. Francis Prep has a plan.
If we notice that there's more traffic or more speeding or something, obviously we're going to be cognizant of that and put people in place.
While these fixed cameras are in the dark, the DOT has 20 mobile units which will be placed at random locations every day through the end of August. In Fresh Meadows, Queens, Tim Harfman, Currents News. Liz, back to you.
All right, Tim, thank you so much for that report. Another big story tonight. The American economy is surging. New numbers for the second quarter show the biggest increase in years, with unemployment plunging while factories and exports are thriving. Mary Maloney digs into the data and reports on what the experts are saying about that news.
President Trump running an economic victory lap.
The United States economy grew at the amazing rate of 4.1%.
Touting the positive news for Americans, the best showing since 2014, and tying the growth to his tax cuts and recent trade moves.
The trade deficit, very dear to my heart because we've been ripped off by the world, has dropped by more than $50 billion.
While most metrics point to a healthy economy, unemployment is near an 18-year low. Factories are seeing more orders and exports are surging. It's the cause of that boost that financial experts say could be misleading.
We also saw this big export rush, and that was farmers and other equipment makers and the like too rushing their orders to China and elsewhere around the world ahead of tariffs.
Experts say the fear of retaliatory tariffs could account for the export surge, and the sudden rise could impact growth down the line. However, Trump says there's no question that this boom is here to stay.
These numbers are very, very sustainable.
Friday's economic news capped off a roller coaster week when it comes to trade. After offering a $12 billion bailout to farmers hurt by recent tariffs, the president quelled fears of an international trade war by announcing new cooperation with the European Union. In Washington, Mary Maloney, Currents News.
Pennsylvania's Attorney General is appealing to Pope Francis for help with a grand jury report on sex abuse. Prosecutor Josh Shapiro launched a 2-year investigation into allegations of abuse in 5 of the state's dioceses. The resulting 800-page document is being kept secret by legal challenges from some priests and others named in the report. Shapiro wants the Holy Father to push for its public release. Cardinal Kevin Farrell says he never heard any of the allegations of abuse against former Washington, D.C. Cardinal Theodore McCarrick. They were together in the city for 6 years.
I was shocked, overwhelmed. I never heard any of this before. When the 6 years I was there with him, I didn't know Cardinal McCarrick prior to his coming to Washington, D.C. I was a priest of Washington, D.C.
Cardinal McCarrick is no longer exercising public ministry after an allegation he abused a teenager was found to be credible. He had ordained Cardinal Farrell a bishop who today, as cardinal, heads the Vatican Office for Laity and Family. A big breakthrough tonight is getting Korean war heroes home. The North is releasing remains of American troops who fell in combat, fulfilling Kim Jong-un's pledge to President Trump. John Lawrence reports.
A somber ceremony at Osan Air Base in South Korea Friday morning. One by one, the remains of U.S. soldiers were handed over, 55 cases in all. This ceremony occurring on the anniversary of the signing of the armistice that ended hostilities in the Korean War. This return is one of the commitments North Korean leader Kim Jong-un agreed to when he and President Trump met last month in Singapore.
Now I have a great relationship, I think, with Chairman Kim, and I think a lot of good things are going to happen.
While Mr. Trump trumpeted positive things about Pyongyang.
For 9 months, no nuclear tests. No rockets going up, no missiles going over Japan. We got our 3 hostages back.
Vice President Mike Pence remains reserved.
There is no escaping the plain fact that North Korea's leadership has exacted unparalleled privation and cruelty upon its people for decades.
Time will tell what will happen with the relationship between the U.S. and North Korea, but for now, the White House says it's encouraged by North Korea's actions and the momentum for positive change. It could take months, maybe years, before the remains are identified. A formal repatriation ceremony is scheduled for August 1st. John Lawrence, Currents News.
Tonight, a drama is playing out on the high seas for migrants aboard a rescue ship. Nations are refusing to let it dock. 2 pregnant women are among the 40 passengers of the Sarost 5. They were picked up in the Mediterranean, crossing from Libya in a dilapidated wooden boat. For 2 weeks, they've been trying to come ashore, only to be refused by France, Italy, Malta, and Tunisia. There's less than 5 days of food on that rescue ship. The feds in Washington said this morning that they have reunited all, quote, eligible migrant parents with their children. Midnight Thursday was the deadline to get the immigrant families back together after they crossed the U.S.-Mexico border illegally. But there is still confusion at this hour. Hundreds of children remain separated from their parents. One government official called the situation fluid. Deadly wildfires are ravaging parts of California and getting worse. The National Guard is being called out to help fight the flames, and Camila Bernal has the latest.
A wildfire raging out of control Friday morning in Northern California's Shasta County. Right now, we're being evacuated. That's why we are kind of closing out right now. Yes. We are going to leave the station because it is now unsafe to be here.
More than 200 National Guard members have joined ground and air efforts to stop the car fire, which has charred more than 44,000 acres. 2 people working the fire were killed.
Had a private hire dozer operator fatality. The operator was working on an active section of the car fire. We're in the process of notifying next of kin.
Several other fire personnel as well as civilians have been injured. Things quickly turned harrowing Thursday for the Reading community as a wall of flames headed towards them. Several structures have been destroyed and that number is expected to rise significantly.
This is that new normal, that unpredictability, the large explosive growth fires.
At least 5 babies in the neonatal unit at Mercy Medical Center are being moved to hospitals in Sacramento as a precaution and to free up some of the Mercy staff members to evacuate their own homes. Earlier this month, a firefighter was killed battling the Ferguson fire near Yosemite National Park. That fire has forced the closure of some of the park's most visited areas. In Yosemite National Park, I'm Camila Burnout.
More U.S.-Russian summits could be in the works. Vladimir Putin said this morning that he's ready to go to Washington at the invitation of President Trump and wants the American to visit him in Moscow. The Washington powwow won't happen until at least sometime next year, and there's no timetable for a get-together at the Kremlin. But the White House is saying the president is, quote, open to visiting. There's a lot more news headed your way. I'll take you on an exclusive tour of Little Haiti, a remarkable neighborhood that is making a big difference in the lives of people who live there. Bishop DiMarzio is moments away tonight. He's taking a look at the Scouts and his trip to their camp. Migrants on the job right outside the Vatican. They're growing a garden and themselves. Do you have a story idea, something happening in your parish we should know about? Because we want to hear from you. Keep this email handy, newstips@desalesmedia.org. We will be right back.
When they do step into the city of New York and they want to taste of Haiti, they can certainly come to Little Haiti and have that taste of Haiti.
That's one of the driving forces behind the creation of what's now known as Little Haiti. She's Assemblywoman and Haitian-American Rodnice Bichot. Little Haiti is a cultural hotspot in the Flatbush section of Brooklyn, but the district that now celebrates Haitian culture was born out of necessity, as I learned when I was there. Welcome to Little Haiti, the nerve center of the vibrant Haitian community in Flatbush, Brooklyn. The neighborhood already pulsing from the cultural influence of 500,000 people of Caribbean descent that live there, a quarter of whom are Haitian. Assemblywoman Rodnice Bichot says a population over 100,000 strong deserved recognition.
Haitians had settled here since the 1950s, have built their businesses, their foundation, have purchased their homes, and really made this community their own.
Ms. Bichot and local lawmakers are part of a coalition that spearheaded a tireless campaign to create Little Haiti. It is now a beacon for the future.
Developing our community will help us be in a position where we're more economically sound. We all want Haiti to succeed.
Toussaint Louverture Boulevard in the Little Haiti Cultural and Business District, its epicenter.
We had Toussaint Louverture Boulevard voted on in 2004. Under the Bloomberg administration, it was taken down. So we were like, you know what? Since we're going to be announcing Little Haiti, let's re-unveil this. Let's put it back.
Louverture, a revolutionary figure in Haitian history whose valiant uprising freed the nation, laying the framework that led to this.
We want people to know the significant contribution of the Haitian liberators and warriors that served in the army that helped us gain our independence.
Another cultural icon, St. Jerome Church, located on the corner of the newly minted Toussaint Louverture Boulevard, was the perfect place to officially announce the Little Haiti Cultural District.
St. Jerome has been a staple in our community, so we just felt that it was great to partner with St. Jerome and the Brooklyn Diocese to have this happen.
It did not happen overnight. The cause first gained momentum following the catastrophic earthquake that rocked Haiti to its core 8 years ago and forced tens of thousands of immigrants to seek refuge right here in Brooklyn. Pain turned into anger when in January, President Donald Trump, meeting with lawmakers to discuss protecting immigrants from Haiti and other countries, opened a cavernous wound in the heart of the people by referring to their homeland as an expletive country. The administration's decision to end the temporary protected status designation that allowed tens of thousands of Haitians to live and work in the United States after the quake further galvanized prominent members of the Haitian community to act.
Little Haiti will create a resource hub to allow lawyers to come in and help the many Haitians who need help. Obviously, a lot of the TPS holders, they're afraid of ICE.
This woman, who asked us to remain anonymous because of immigration fears, beamed with pride at the sign.
Oh, sure, I'm glad. I'm looking this right now. I'm glad to see that.
New York City is embracing us, embracing Little Haiti, and we too are part of America. You know, we too bring values.
The Little Haiti Coalition is currently working on a separate proposal to co-name a street in Flatbush in honor of Jean-Jacques Dessalines, a former slave who was one of Haiti's founding fathers. They pledged to do their duty to God and country. The Boy Scouts of Brooklyn and Queens spent part of their summer learning life skills in a camp in the Catskills, and their biggest supporter is Brooklyn's Bishop Nicholas DiMarzio. He joins tablet editor Ed Wilkinson to talk about the trip in this week's Into the Deep. Ed.
Thank you, Liz. Recently, Bishop DiMarzio spent the day up in Boy Scout camp in upstate New York, and he's here today to tell us all about that trip. Bishop, did you enjoy your day in the Scout camp?
Yeah, it was a great day. The weather could have been better, but otherwise the kids were great.
Mm-hmm. Why do you make it a point every year to get up there to Boy Scout camp?
Well, because they ask every year. No, it's a good thing. It's encouraging to the leadership, especially. They need to be encouraged in carrying on a volunteer effort, which is a big effort to run Scout troops. And our diocese, we sponsor 80 different troops in Brooklyn and Queens, so that's a good number. And there's always, there was probably about 200 from Brooklyn and Queens up there, so it was good, worth the trip.
What do you think are some of the things that a young man or a young woman can get out of a scouting program?
Well, it's a good leadership training. It's skills, you know, you learn different skills, knots and other things that are very useful. They had auto training up there, which I never, they got that sophisticated, but things have changed. But the skills, but it's the leadership really and discipline. They really are big on that. Those are important gifts that people need to have.
Yeah. Sometimes there's a lot of controversy in the news, you know, about who should be scout leaders and who shouldn't be scout leaders.
Yeah.
And how do we get beyond all that stuff? Because we're committed to the scouting movement, right?
Yeah, we've been pretty lucky that, you know, we choose as the leadership. Each individual parish is the sponsor. And it's up to the parish to make sure the leadership is good and solid. And we do all the background checks, all of the other things we do with any volunteers. So we are good on that. Mm-hmm. But the scouting movement's been changing a bit. And now it's called Scouts, not Boy Scouts, because girls can join.
Yeah.
They have separate troops, but that's part of it. So it's a little different than it was, but it's still pretty solid.
Yeah, that's a beautiful camp up there. It's a beautiful piece of
great area.
Yeah.
Great piece of property called 10 Mile Island and lakes, I guess. 10 Mile River.
10 Mile River, right.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful spot. It was donated by the Rockefellers to the Boy Scouts, and it's I don't know how many thousands of acres. It's huge, huge place.
Now, when you go up there, what do you do? Do you have a program for the day?
Yeah, well, normally we go there, we have lunch, and then we'll have mass sometime in the afternoon and visit some of the events or things that are happening or some of the troops. So, you know, it's a whole day operation, about 3-hour trip up there.
Yeah. What do you say to them when you preach a homily, obviously? And
well, again, I talk about Scouts, that I was a Scout myself. I got a lot out of it, and I encourage them to stay with the program because they can learn a lot of things they need for life skills, and that's really the whole message.
Yeah. Well, what are some of your memories, personal memories as a Boy Scout? Did you go to summer camp when you were a Boy Scout?
Yes, sure I did. Yeah. That was a big highlight. And but then I kind of grew. Became a leader, and I just basically when I went away to the seminary is when I stopped. I was the running the troop, assistant scoutmaster. The scoutmaster was not well, so I did a lot of the work. So it was a good opportunity also to learn how to be leader.
But you never became an Eagle Scout, right?
No,
is that one of your big regrets?
Aged out.
You went off
well,
to
I
the
got
seminar.
too busy with school, was in school, and you have to be 18. So you have to do it before you're 18. So it's not that easy to do.
And those guys are really exceptional young men. I mean, to become an Eagle Scout, there are certain tests that you have to pass.
No, there's a lot of merit badges, tests, and things. I mean, I did almost all of it. I was, as I say, just aged out. The time was out.
Good.
I had other things.
Thanks for being with us, Bishop.
Okay.
Liz, back to you. That's the Bishop's Day at Scout Camp.
Oh, thank you, Ed. And thank you, Bishop DiMarzio. It really does sound like it was a fun trip. Still to come on Currents News, the Vatican's Migrant Project, where refugees are planting the seeds that could bring them better lives. And the first U.S. citizen to become a saint will soon be honored in her home parish, a cathedral in Philadelphia. We'll be right back. Two things Pope Francis is very vocal about: refugees and the environment are taking center stage right in the Vatican's backyard. A new project to help migrants grow fruits, flowers, and themselves. Cody Williams tells us how.
These refugees have found a land of opportunity right in the backyard of the Congregation of the Mission in Rome. Since March, they've been growing produce and flowers here as part of the Mediterranea project, a Vincentian initiative seeking to also cultivate something intangible: integration. We've created a beautiful atmosphere, one of friendship and collaboration among everyone. It's a professional environment, but also one in which we've built strong bonds. I'm happy because I'm working now. I'm healthy and safe, and there are no longer any problems. I can't go back to my country, so I obviously would prefer to stay here. I work with my friends here. Even though we're from different nations in Africa, we've learned so much together. After harvest in September, this organic output will go on sale at floriculture exhibitions and farmers markets. Additional products, such as jams and flavored salts and sugars, will be available for order online. Profits will be divided equally among the workers, with the hope they'll become financially autonomous. This promise of a steady job and cultural assimilation inspires each one of these refugees, some of whom make hours-long commutes on public transportation every day.
I pray that the project will go more further and in future so that we can become something better in Italy. I think in future I will know how to do more things, so it will make me go well in future to help my children.
In this space brimming with potential, the plants and flowers aren't the only ones doing the growing. In Rome, Cody Williams, Currents News.
The first U.S. citizen to become a saint is going home. The relics of St. Catherine Drexel are moving into Philadelphia's Cathedral Basilica of Saints Peter and Paul. She attended Mass there as a child. St. Catherine's legacy is legendary, opening 50 schools for African-American children and another dozen for Native American youngsters. More than 100 missions were set up to serve them. Born in 1858, she's known as the patroness of racial justice. Her shrine will be open to the public in September, and I think I may visit. That is Currents News. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Liz Faublas. Set your DVR to record this program so that you never miss it, because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.